Hey, YouTube. I got an article in my email today that is just absolutely incredible, and I want to share it with you. What recently happened is that the Iran deal went through, where basically Iran was given the ability to continue pursuing nuclear weapons. The sanctions were removed, which frees up billions of dollars for them. And even at the same time that this happened, there were instances of, I don't remember if it was Rouhani or Khomeini, some of the leaders over there, but they were involved in meetings where they were chanting death to Israel, death to America. So this is obviously a bad deal, as Netanyahu has called it.
The bottom line of this very bad deal is exactly what Iran's President Rouhani said today. The international community is removing the sanctions, and Iran is keeping its nuclear program. What a stunning, historic mistake.
He's been very vocal about that, and to me, it is viewed as a very open betrayal of Israel, an open betrayal of Netanyahu, because he spoke before Congress, calling it a bad deal, exposing that these Iranians want to cut Israel off from being a nation, that, the name of Israel will be remembered no more. I think that's Psalm 83. Yeah. Do not keep silent, O God. Do not hold your peace, and do not be still, O God. For behold, your enemies make a tumult, and those who hate you have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against your people and consulted together against your sheltered ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be remembered no more. So there's just a continuation of Bible prophecy happening, but this deal is pointing directly at September. If you're not aware of what's going on, Jonathan Cahn's been teaching for years about the shemitah cycle. We're currently in a blood moon tetrad, and the last tetrad, blood moon, is in September. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon turned to blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord. We're about to enter a Jubilee year. So here's what I find interesting. Here's the article. And basically it's saying that the deal was on July 14th that they got a deal made. So July 14th, they came to a deal and agreed to do this, where they remove the sanctions, they do all these things, and agree to investigations and inspections and all this sort of stuff. Now, this article says the date falls during a particularly significant time in the Jewish calendar known as the 3 weeks. Now, if you go through this article, you'll see that the 3 weeks is a time of mourning that the Jews observe because of the destruction of the first and second temples. Both temples were destroyed on the 9th of the month of Av. The 3 weeks is the 3 weeks leading up to the 9th of Av. And this deal was formed exactly in the middle of this 3 weeks leading up to the 9th of Av. So what's very interesting about this is that this deal has to go through Congress for ratification. You see a part here where, although the White House is attempting to push the agreement through the United Nations before Congress has a chance to review the measure, there is another striking connection between the Iran deal and the Jewish calendar. So here we go. Regardless of what happens at the UN, the U.S. Congress has 60 days to review and vote to either ratify or nix the nuclear deal. On the Jewish calendar, 60 days from the day the Iran deal was signed falls on Rosh Hoshanah, the Jewish New Year. So everybody's looking at September 23rd. That is the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. Many people have been talking about it. Many people are finding more and more evidence for it. And what happens here is that this deal has to go through Congress to be ratified. and they will make their final decision on Rosh Hashanah, which is roughly, September 13th. Rosh Hashanah is called the feast where no one knows the day or the hour, because it has only begun when two witnesses see the sliver of the new moon. So no one can know the day or the hour that feast begins. This is major, because we've got so many other things pointing to this same time frame. The Pope is going to come to the United Nations. He's talking about global governance. I believe they're going to vote to, divide Israel and create the Palestinian state, because the Vatican has already recognized the Palestinian state. Now, something that I thought about today, and I'm not declaring that this is what it is, it's only a thought, but if you consider this, they made a deal, right, where basically it gives Iran the ability to continue to pursue the nuclear weapons that they would use to wipe out Israel. Just a thought here, but is it possible? When you look at Daniel 9:27, it says that he will confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. So I'm not saying that this is what that is, but, this is something that it's a covenant, and then it's going to be confirmed. So I know this deal, I think it's got a 10-year time frame, but, what if at the last minute they change it to 7? That's pretty wild. So just something to be aware of. I'm not declaring that this is the covenant. I think the covenant has a lot to do with the division of Israel, actually. But regarding this Iran deal, I wanted to show you some things out of Ezekiel 38, because this is all directly related. Now, Ezekiel 38 is the Battle of Gog-Magog, and it's a alliance of Russia, Iran, and Turkey, and some other nations. I've studied this quite a bit in the past, and I believe that this is exactly what's going on, because when I started watching back in 2008, Turkey was friends with Israel. Russia was not even part of anything going on over there, and since then, Turkey is now an enemy of Israel. Iran and Russia have become allies, militarily, politically. And, there's something that I wanted to show you. In Ezekiel 38, I believe it's right here in verse 13. It talks about Sheba, Dedan, the merchants of Tarshish, and all their young lions. America is the young lions. Australia, I forget who else, but basically we come from Great Britain, which was represented by a lion. They will say to you, "Have you come to take plunder? Have you gathered your army to take booty, to carry away silver and gold, to take away livestock and goods, to take great plunder? Come to take a spoil." This is in the King James. "Are you come to take a spoil? Have you gathered thy company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold?" So here's what's crazy interesting. I just saw this the other day. The Temple Mount activists find billions of dollars of gold in southern Israel. This guy, Rabbi Glick, did a video with, what's his face here, Paul Begley. What? And basically, he confesses that they found billions of dollars of gold in the mountains of Eilat, I don't know how to say it. But something that's interesting to me is that why does Russia care about Israel at all? Religiously, they're not interested. But I think Russia is involved because of the natural resources issue. Because Gog-Magog talks about they come into the Golan Heights, which is the mountains in northern Israel and southern Syria. It says they descend like a cloud. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm, and thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands and many people with thee. So, just go over these two chapters. But it's amazing because if Russia is coming from natural resources, um, you know, Israel is known to have the largest natural gas resources in the whole area to the point of becoming self-sufficient. And, it's a challenge for Russia because Russia is a, power player as far as providing um, energy and gas and oil and sorts of things to Europe, where Israel would actually become a challenger and that Israel would be cutting into their market. So I think it's a big deal, that Russia would want to come take these natural resources. When you look at Ezekiel 38:4, he's already talking about, I will, behold, I'm against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth. So it says that God puts a hook in their jaw to bring them forth. What I find interesting about that is that Israel, I believe their largest natural gas discovery is called Leviathan. Now, if you look in Job, just a second here. Here it says in Job 41, God is talking to Job. Can you draw out Leviathan with a hook or snare his tongue with a line which you lower? So what I find interesting is that Ezekiel 38 about Gog says, can you put a hook in the jaw of Leviathan? I put hooks in your jaws to draw you forth. Yet their largest natural gas discovery is called Leviathan, and God makes a reference here. Can you draw out Leviathan with a hook? So I'm not saying that's like, totally tied together, but I think it's a very interesting possibility. Can you put a reed through his nose or pierce his jaw with a hook? So there's references to Leviathan and being drawn with a hook there, a hook in the jaw. So these are some crazy things going on. This Iran deal is going to be ratified, the final decision made on Rosh Hoshanah, which is 10 days before September 23rd. And so many people are looking at September 23rd because it's the final day of the shemitah cycle. Rosh Hashanah is the final day of the shemitah cycle. Day of Atonement is the first day of the Jubilee. And then shortly after that, about 5 days after that, is the final blood moon. We've got other things tied into this, but, this is just another thing on the mountain of evidence piling onto September. So what I would say to you is that Jesus said, Paul said, you, brethren, are not in darkness that this day should overtake you as a thief. Jesus said many times to watch. He rebuked the Jews for not knowing the time of their visitation, called them hypocrites because they could discern the face of the sky, but how is it that you can't discern the signs of the times? So discern the signs of the times, because this is absolutely it. I believe that September is going to be major for America especially, and prepare your house. Jesus is the only way to salvation. People say, yeah, I believe in God, but God said, believe on his Son who he sent. There's no other way to heaven. There's no other salvation. Just take this seriously. And I'm not date setting and saying World War III raptures in September. I'm not declaring that. But I'm saying the things that are happening in September are so amazingly coordinated that, you better be paying attention. So Jesus is Lord. I pray that you're saved, because things are about to get very, very scary around here if you're not under the blood of the Lamb. With that, I say, see you later. God bless.